Hello, this is Paul from AMD Automotive, Canberra, Sydney. I've got a 997 turbo, twin turbo engine I took out. Trying to go through what I found with this engine here. Alright, so we'll go back to this engine. We'll go through the engine here. I just want to show you what I found. And I mean, just me looking at this car here. When I was removing all the stuff out, everything was super tight, meaning that somebody's already taken this engine out before to do some work, and they didn't torque up the bolts with the right specifications. So it's easy to tell if you try to undo something and it's too tight, especially when you put a big bar there and it's still struggling to take it off. That means those bolts were done up by rattle gun, or just somebody just didn't care. Sometimes I take a bit too long when I do my work, but I've got to look up every single torque specification for every single bolt from the Porsche manual. It takes a long time to find that because it's not a straight through menu. It's pretty much you got to go everywhere to find it, but once you find it, you can actually do your job properly. So do it properly better. So before we go to the engine, let's go to the body first. I found, see here, see that little crack there? I put a yellow mark there. It's cracked, so I think someone took this off before and then they tried to pry it off because it's really hard to take them off here. See the bracket there? There's a little ball point thing in there. So for that, the plastic to actually clip onto. It's really hard to take it off, so what I do, I take the whole thing off so nothing breaks. But what I found is someone tried to pry it before and they broke that. I mean, I can glue that back on, I can repair it myself. It's alright. It's no big deal, as long as the cable's not broken, it's fine. That's one thing. Let's have a look at your engine mount. As you can see, it's still the original one, so it's sagged down a little bit. That's the engine mount. Alright. Draft shaft boot still fine. That's one thing. The other thing I found with this car here, when they took it off, I'm not sure who took it off before, but look at that. See that? They super glued the cable onto that. This is the cable that goes to your starter motor, which is on this side here. That's your starter motor cable from there to here, and then from there it goes under there and goes to your alternator. That's your alternator there at the front to charge the battery. So come back to here to show you. Look at that. Somebody have broken the cable before, so not the cable but the clip. So instead of trying to get a new one, they just glued the whole thing on, which was alright at the time, but when I went to take it off, the whole thing was all glued on in there and I can't take this off. So I had to struggle a little bit to pop this off from here so I can disconnect the cable from this side here that goes to the battery. Otherwise the engine will be stuck there. So I had a mission to do that. So we'll come back to the actual back of the engine. So I'm going to recommend to the customer to change this vent solenoid here because it's just too old, and after a while they actually they brittle and they break off. See how they sit right there, you can't even see it. When you open the bonnet's here, the engine's here, so you can't see any of those at the back. Outside here is easy to see, but so these plastics, they get brittle and they break here and they cause vacuum leak. Alright, so I'm gonna quote that one up. I'm gonna quote this plastic up as well because it comes to here. Over time they crack, they brittle. That one here as well, that one, sorry. I'm gonna quote up that pipe there as well, it's brittle. Original one from day one. That one there as well. But if you look here underneath, this is the oil tank, and the purpose of the oil tank to have it like that is so when you go on the track. There's no starvation of oil from your car for your engine when it's running high speed. So if you have a normal car and you go around a corner, the oil will just splash through one side, and then your oil pump will have no oil to suck to supply the pistons and the engine with. So the purpose of this to actually, oil is always full and your pump's always pumping oil from here. So no starvation of oil. So most race cars will have an oil tank. So if the oil doesn't go, like on a normal car, like a Japanese car, go around the corner, the oil goes to one side, depending on inertia. But with the support of the oil tank, your oil is always full here. So it doesn't matter if it's going left or right, inside here it's full anyway. So there's no starvation of oil for your engine. Anyway, let's go back to here. So have a look at this pipe down here, it's leaking oil. And look, I can just put my finger here. This is a rubber hose. Look at it. Look how soft it is. I can just look at that. I can put a hole. I can almost put a hole through there with my hand. Look how soft it is. Look at that. Look. I can squash the whole thing. So I've got to replace that hose as well. If you come back here, inside here, there's a auxiliary air pump. No, not an auxiliary air pump. It's an auxiliary water pump, electrical water pump. See how that? You can see that coolant leak there. That mark there. It's leaking coolant. So it's leaking coolant coming down here as well. So the water pump is here. I'm gonna take the exhaust off to do the water pump, and I'm gonna recommend to the customer as well to do the thermostat, which is in there. And the coolant pipes is here. I'm gonna take all this off to do the coolant pipes, to remove the complete coolant pipes off, because they do pop off in there as well. So I gotta get that welded, aluminium weld properly, and then refit it back to the car. Alright, I'll do the new dry belt as well, and whatever I can see here, I'll get it quoted. Alright, there's an oil pipe here as well. Let me try to find the oil pipe. That one there, that one there. What's that one there? It goes down to here. That's it. That's the oil pipe. Oil pipe that goes to here. That's the one I've got to get quoted as well. There was a campaign for this car when they first came out in 2006, 2005, that we had to replace those oil pipes because there's a one-way valve inside, and what happened is the valve doesn't shut properly, and then allows oil to drip onto the actual turbo and blow smoke in the morning on first startup. So what we're doing now, that's where I am right now, and then sorry, the mounts is still alright for now, but probably get it done in the future. Actually, it's already starting to rip. You see that? It's torn, so I might have to get that as well. Okay, I'll get the quote done and we'll start working on the car, and then we'll go from there. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.